Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Over Easy. My name is Manny. In case you're new here, or welcome back, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the 50th episode of Over Easy, by the way, which is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie, I put a lot of pressure on myself to make this 50th episode like something really cool. Like, oh, I was either gonna bring on my boyfriend or I was going to, go out and interview people in public. I don't know. I was like dreaming really wild for my 50th episode. But honestly, first of all, that won't really represent what's going on in my life right now. And also, Over Easy started as a way for me to share my life and also what I think about. And I really think that today's episode is going to basically be exactly that. So I was like, I need to lower my expectations. That's what I've been telling myself in my yoga class. My yoga instructor keeps saying, lower your expectations, don't have expectations, and just live life as it comes. So this is my 50th episode, which is really crazy to think about. It's definitely been over a year since I started Over Easy, just because I took a couple breaks here and there. But yeah, it's just wild to think about that it's been over a year and now I'm at my 50th episode, which is honestly wild. But today the title of this episode honestly is what we're going to be talking about, which is I have no idea what I'm doing. So before we get into that though, we're going to do a rosebud and thorn, as we always do, of course. In case you're new here, a rose is something that is good that's happened, a bud is something I'm looking forward to, and a thorn is something that's not so good that has happened. So my rosebud and thorn are very clear this week. I don't even have to think about it. My rose is that, in case you're watching the video and you haven't noticed, I cut my hair, and my hair is super short. It's just by my ears, maybe not. It's like by my neck, which I have never cut my hair to shorter than my shoulders before. So this is completely new for me. I have just been feeling really sick of long hair. I've never cut it this short because I dance, and with dance you have to make a bun and all that. So I've never been allowed to cut my hair short. But now that I'm finished dance, and also it's summer and it's just so hot and I really don't want to deal with my hair, I decided to cut it short. Also, for the last few months, I've just been like hating my hair. Like, I don't know how to style it, don't know how to do things with it. So I figured like this would be a nice change of pace and also a little bit easier to manage, which it has been. When I wash my hair, it dries in like 45 minutes compared to like 3 hours before, which is amazing. So I've been really happy with that. I also just think I look like my mom, first of all, but I also just look so more older, kind of, in my opinion. But also sometimes, like when I freshly wash my hair like today, it gets a little puffy and I look like Severus Snape. So we're still learning to manage this hairstyle, but I do really like it and I'm really happy with this change and I think it's great. My bud is that this weekend, first of all, it's Canada Day weekend, and I'm not really going to be celebrating Canada Day this year or probably ever again, just because of everything that has happened, and also Canada is founded on genocide, but that's like a whole nother thing to talk about. We're not going to talk about that today. But this weekend is the long weekend, and my friends and I have planned a little beach picnic get together on Saturday. Sorry, my boyfriend's phone rang. I have my boyfriend's phone because yesterday I put it in my pocket and I forgot to give it to him. So it was just ringing. So I just got interrupted. But anyways, this weekend, my friends and I have planned a little beach picnic. Basically, it's like my group of 4 friends, including me. There's 4 people. It's called Cram. And we all know each other from high school. And we're all going to the beach and we're all bringing our boyfriends. So I think it's going to be super fun. Like, we're going to have our volleyball. We're going to just eat snacks, maybe drink a couple ciders. And I think it'll be so much fun. Like, this is literally what I've wanted to do all summer, and I am so excited for it. My thorn is that, unfortunately, COVID still exists. I know people are over COVID now, and, it's like basically nothing. But my grandparents, both of them, got COVID this week, and it's been very, very different to deal with it. What I've noticed is that anytime in my family dynamic, someone is taken out of the equation, whether it's me, my mom, my brother, one of my grandparents, the whole family dynamic changes so much. And, everyone in the family has like their specific roles or the specific like attitudes that they have. And once you take someone out of it, it gets so different. So yeah, both of my grandparents have basically been just resting this entire week. Thankfully, they are so much more okay now. It's not bad. They're still testing positive as of last night, and it's been a week. But they're honestly a lot better. No fever, nothing like that. It's just a bad cough. But yeah, I've been noticing that this week, because my grandparents haven't been able to do much, a lot of the family dynamics are very different. First of all, my mom is cooking dinner. My mom never cooks dinner. She hasn't in such a long time. So it's been really weird, but also really nice to eat her food. And also just like small tasks here and there, like little things that you don't realize people do that are not being done right now. So that's definitely been a thorn. I've also just been like paranoid about spreading it in case I have it or anything like that. But honestly, I'm feeling a lot better and it's been okay. So I'm really thankful, because for the longest time since COVID happened, I was always really worried about bringing COVID back to my grandparents, because I knew that obviously they're a little more elderly. But now that I have seen the effects of COVID on them and seeing that it's a lot better than I imagined, the worst case scenario, I have a lot less anxiety and I have a lot more ease. So I am feeling okay. It's obviously still a thorn, but not as bad as I thought it'd be. So yeah, that's my check-in for today. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're enjoying summer so far. I'm so excited for summer. As of right now, I'm going to share a little bit more. It's June 30th today, the day that I'm recording, and obviously it's July tomorrow, and July is just so exciting for me. So I'm just super, super looking forward to that. But let's talk about how I've been feeling and how I don't know what I'm doing. So I was planning this episode yesterday. I wanted to film this yesterday actually, but I just really wasn't in the mood, because yesterday was super filled with existential dread. Today I'm feeling honestly a lot better. So I thought today I'd be in a little bit of a better headspace to record. Obviously, I don't want to record when I don't even know what I'm thinking, but I just have a couple main points that I want to talk about based on like post-grad life, living as a young adult in this world, obviously with the effects of social media and everything like that, like just everything going on right now. Okay, so I started with, I feel lost. In terms of, I don't know what direction to go at all. Obviously, I have certain interests that I like. I've always liked working with kids. I've always liked, creative stuff like doing YouTube and doing all this. But even with those interests in mind, there's still such a broad field of anything that you could do. And also, there's such a big pressure, in my opinion at least, to be meaningful. Like, I was just thinking, in terms of my YouTube content, I love watching lighthearted vlogs and all this kind of stuff. I honestly like watching a lot of different types of content, but to me, it's like not really meaningful. Especially to me when I'm the one making it and I just like, film a day in my life and I'm just post it. It's not really meaningful to me. I'm like, why do I even do this? Like, there's not really a point. Like with my YouTube videos, I want there to be a purpose, whether that be just a general theme of living in my 20s, becoming a young adult, or anything like that. I don't know. I just felt like this past month, I talked about this before, but I was posting daily on YouTube. I just felt like it was kind of meaningless because I didn't really know what I was doing. So in that case, in that realm, I've been really lost. I think I'm just going to take a little hiatus from YouTube while I think about what I want to do. But also with a job, because I don't know. I know that people are like, oh, your job is just your way to pay your bills and it doesn't have to be something that you're in love with. But also, to me personally, I think it's somewhat important to have a job that you think is important in this world. I'm not going to shame any jobs and say they're not useful, but for me, like if I have a job that, I don't know, doesn't feel like I'm providing a greater sense of purpose, whether that be helping someone else or just helping society in general, I feel like it's somewhat meaningless as well. There's a lot of jobs nowadays that are just created because of social media or because of money. Like, I don't know. I just feel like those jobs are just not the most meaningful. Like I really want a job that I can feel like I'm actually making a difference. And I know this is very, like, this whole conversation just reminds me of The Fault in Our Stars, where Augustus Waters says he wants to be remembered and stuff, and Hazel Grace Lancaster is just like, oh, you're so oblivious. I kind of feel like that because I don't think that, at least personally, I don't think that I need to be remembered when I pass away or I don't live anymore. But I also just don't want to live a life that's unfulfilling to me. And for me, like, I feel so fulfilled when I actually help people. Like right now in my part-time job teaching math, I feel so fulfilled just getting to know these kids, being supportive to them, like being a place of support and providing a safe space for them to learn and share and everything like that. Like that is so meaningful to me. And so makes me feel so like I have a purpose in life. But when I think about what full-time job I want to do, like nothing really gives me that same drive. And that's obviously because I haven't done anything yet. So maybe that's the problem. But still, I don't know. I feel like I feel like the thing is I just need to take my first step and then adjust from there. Like right now, because I'm kind of in a base and I'm not really moving right now, I'm quite stagnant. I feel like the first thing that I need to do is just step outside my comfort zone, get a job doing anything, and then just adjust from there, because nothing is permanent, right? Like even if I get a full-time job, that doesn't mean I'm stuck to it for the next 10 years. So I think that's just my issue. Like I need to just get out there and not think so much, because obviously I have so many years of my career ahead of me and this is not the finish line. So maybe that's just my problem. But my next point was that I just feel also very overwhelmed. This is kind of going to be a little political, which I try not to be all the time because I'm not always the most educated on everything. You know, I'm not a person that loves looking at history and all this like politics and all that. But I just do have my own opinions and thoughts. But I do feel extremely overwhelmed just with the state of the world right now. I feel like it's so messed up to be desensitized to breaking news that happens every single week. I feel like every day, this is something that I've been meaning to do, but on my laptop, for some reason, I think when I set up my laptop, I signed into a news, like global news. And so I get notifications of breaking headlines whenever they show up. And it's just like the fact that I see these headlines now and I don't react to them is just so messed up. Like, I don't think our world should be like this. I don't know. Is that just me? I can't even read the news now because I do feel emotional towards it, but it's just, it makes me feel so overwhelmed because I have no idea what I can even do. Me as this 22-year-old who doesn't even live that close to all this breaking news and all this terrible stuff. Like, what am I even supposed to do? And it feels like social media is so pointless. Like, yes, there are a lot of social movements that are spread with social media and started with social media, but I also feel like it's just so pointless. Like, okay, if I share an infographic on my Instagram story just to raise awareness, like what does that really do? People just stop posting about it the next day and then we all forget. There have been so many terrible things that have happened this year, and I feel like, yes, I saw that moment really focused on social media for maybe like a day or two, but then like the next week, once the next breaking headline comes in, people just forget about the last event. And it's just like, that's, I can't even stop saying, it's just so messed up that this is the way that our world works now. I don't know. And oh my gosh, there's just so many things. Like, I'm just thinking about all the news that I've read recently that is just so terrible, and I don't even know how I'm supposed to be here with all of this. Like, I want to help, of course. It breaks my heart to see these things, but I'm so overwhelmed with how do I start? Where am I supposed to help? Who? And like, where do I start helping and all this stuff? It's just crazy. Like, I don't even know if it's like, are we supposed to fix the local issues first, or, you know, these like major international news first? You know, there's just so many things going on that no one can really tolerate all of this and make a meaningful impact because there's just too much to deal with. So that's also been something that's really bugging me recently, because I have just been not feeling good. Like nowadays, I can't even go on my phone, and whenever I see news pop up on Instagram stories, like people sharing news or whatever, like I just have to close it because I just can't mentally deal with that, which is terrible to say, because like that's also just such a privileged thing to say, like, oh, when I want to, I can just turn off the news and not deal with it, when a lot of this news is like people's reality and people have to deal with the actual event, versus me just like not being able to handle reading it on the news. I don't even know. I hope someone else feels like this, because I really hope someone else feels like this. Otherwise I'll feel like poo-poo. But that's also just been, it also like highlights like my constant thought this year was like, why am I so focused on getting a full-time job and like adding to this corporate society when there are people out there who are still fighting for their life and can't even live a good life, healthy, able-bodied, mentally well life. There are people out there who just can't even do that, and I'm focused on paying my taxes and making sure that I have enough in my retirement savings. Doesn't that just seem, to me, it's just like one issue is clearly more important than the other. I don't know. That's kind of how I've been feeling. It's like, why do I think these issues are just so not normal? I don't know. I'm like actually at a loss for words right now. I don't even know what to say, which is not good because I record a podcast. But yeah, those two, first of all, combined have just been really hard to deal with, because realistically, like, what can I do? And I've thought of ideas of cool things that I could do, but I don't know. I just feel like it's very overwhelming to start to think about these things, but then I also want to think about them. I can't just block them out, because these are real issues that our flawed society have created. So, yeah, I've been feeling like I don't know where to step. Like, I want to take a step forward, but I don't know where to step. And again, I think I just need to push myself and take any step forward and then just recalibrate my direction. But it's just been super overwhelming to think about all of these things that are going on. And also just like, I can't even live my life normally because, you know, it's all over social media. It's just anything everyone can talk about. And yes, these things are so important, but it also just feels like I feel so powerless. So feel very overwhelmed and also just defeated. That's a good word to say. Another thing that I feel is I feel behind, in quotation marks. And I know I have seen my fair share of TikToks that say, you know, life is not a race. Just because someone's doing this at age 22 doesn't mean they're more ahead of you or they're better than you. I have seen so many of those TikToks, and that is something I preach on the daily. But there are just these moments, I think, when I get a little bit vulnerable and I'm just not in the right headspace, that it just really crushes me. It's really not easy, especially with social media and comparison just like at your fingertips all the time. And even if I don't use social media, people talk about it, right? Like when I was getting ready to graduate in April, when I was talking to my friends, like all we would talk about was like, oh, so-and-so got a job here after graduation and they're going to make 6 figures a year. And so-and-so got a job here and they're going to make 7 figures a year and stuff like that. Like it's just something you talk about. Which is terrible because I feel like I can't even take a break to myself. Like I feel like I just have to keep going on this hamster wheel. And now that I've actually taken some time to pause, like it's been about 2 months since I've finished school, like I feel so guilty for taking these 2 months off, and people keep nailing in me that this has been a waste of 2 months. Like, you should have just started getting a job already and working already. Like, why is everyone in such a rush? For me, I always wanted to take this time, I actually really wanted to take a gap year after high school, because after high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And now that I'm out of university and I really have no direction, I feel even more confused than I did after high school. And like, I don't know why people are so judgmental towards the fact, like, if you are not working right away after graduating. I feel like a lot of people who I've just met this year, and I tell them, oh, I graduated from UBC this year. And then the next question is obviously, oh, what are you up to now? Like, are you looking for a full-time job? Or like, oh, where are you working after you graduate? I'm like, why does that have to follow so naturally? Like, I have 40 plus years of my life to work and give away my soul. But why do I have to rush into this? Why can't I just take a break? And I think I know that I will be very grateful that I took a break after graduation years down the line. But right now, I feel so guilty for taking a break, because I feel like everyone is just constantly thinking like, oh, she's just wasting her time. Like, oh, she's just blah, blah, blah. I'm so sorry that this podcast episode is going to feel kind of negative. I feel like I'm just really frustrated with just trying to live my life and not living a life that everyone agrees with. It's just frustrating. Anyways, social media also makes it just so much easier to compare yourself to not even just your peers, but also people you don't even know. Like, there are countless TikToks that come up on my For You page of these random people that I don't even know, but they're like, oh my God, I'm 22 and I already have a multi-million-dollar business. And this is what I do every day, flying on my private jets and going to Equinox for my fitness classes. I'm like, oh, it's just like, I don't even ask for it and it shows up. I kind of am thinking about deleting TikTok, but I also really like making TikToks. But I really just don't like the fact that I'm not in control of the content that I consume on TikTok, because obviously before I can even think about whether I want to watch the video, it already starts playing on my For You page. And that is how social media works, right? That's why TikTok is so successful, is because, it just comes up and it just starts playing already. But it is not a good time on my mind. So I will have to think about, I might even do my social media cleanse very soon, to be honest. Anyways, like, yes, I don't have a plan after I graduate, and I graduated knowing that I didn't have a plan, but why do we need to rush? That's just always been my mindset. Why do we need to rush? And again, like, I know that life is not a race and it's just about your perspective and all that, but I think it's like very natural to think in this way, like compare yourself to other people and just think very linearly, because that's like the easiest way to think. So again, when I am low in willpower and it's late at night and I'm like very tired from the day, like, these negative thoughts just keep coming and I can't control them. And it doesn't feel good. Yeah. All I can think about is just that, like, growing up with social media is terrible. I honestly kind of feel bad for kids nowadays, because they're just so used to seeing these people online, people they don't even know, and comparing themselves, whether it be because of their physical appearance or the accomplishments that they have and all that. Like, I feel like before, social media was so regulated in that you had a lot of control over when you wanted to consume media and how you wanted to consume media, because obviously if I wanted to, I would watch the news on TV at a certain time too. Like, it only comes at a certain time. But nowadays, like, you open your phone habitually and go on Instagram and you're just like knocked out with so many pieces of information that it just gets overwhelming. And the thing is that like I love it, but I also hate it because I love creating content and I love being creative on social media, but also there's this flip side that is just not healthy or good for any of us. So what do? I think I might just have to start making videos for like Vimeo or something, not on YouTube. It's too much. Also, the fact that YouTube is so saturated now really overwhelms me because now I feel like there are so many options and there's just too many options, and it's just a little crazy when I open my YouTube and I can't even pick a single video to watch. Like, it's just overwhelming because there's so many options. That has not been good and not been fun. Yeah, I think I just need to take a break from social media, to be honest, because in the core of myself, I feel like I have a lot of self-assurance, but it's just when I use social media, that really ruins my idea of myself. So then I'm like, I've been thinking about this. I think I have a very positive self-image of myself, and this has been through years of self-love and self-work. Like, this did not come naturally, but whenever, like, it's still deteriorable in that it can still break down. Like, when I go on social media, sometimes I do feel bad about myself. So is that me not having a strong enough self-image, or is it the social media's fault? Because obviously we're not used to being able to access so much information so regularly. I don't know. Okay, I think I'm definitely going to do a social media cleanse after this. For sure. Even though I don't want to, but I just don't want to because obviously that's the easy thing to do. Like, that's what takes up a lot of my time and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. Anyways, I wanted to talk about my vision of my perfect life because actually yesterday, coincidentally, I didn't even tell my boyfriend that I was feeling these things, but he was telling me about what he thought I should do because obviously he knows that I'm also quite a bit directionless right now. And I think I have the ideal setup for the next few months, and I just have to kick myself out of my comfort zone and just get started. So, there has been a job waiting for me. My mom has offered me a job if I wanted to take it. And it's not in anything I studied at all. It's actually an accounting job, which is crazy. I only took like 2 accounting courses in school, so I'm like exposed to it, but definitely would not say I'm proficient in it at all. But obviously for a lot of jobs, like as long as you're willing to learn, like they will train you and do like teach you whatever you need to know. So it's not like I need to know all these things before I start. But anyways, I think I need to just get a full-time job somewhere and just start working so that I don't have all this time to think. And I think doing something that I am challenged by, like accounting or something that I didn't do in school, would be really helpful because first of all, I have no direction. So it's not like I'm looking for a certain type of job anyway. Like I would honestly take any job. But also, I think it'll also teach me a lot of different skills that I don't have. Like I think if I go into a job where I've already done somewhat of the same things, like say some daycare wanted to give me a full-time job working with kids, like I've already worked with kids so much in my life that I think I would develop a lot of the same skills, but I think I need something different to develop different skills for me. So yeah, I think I just need a full-time job doing something different. And then my boyfriend also offered me a full-time job, not a full-time job, like a job managing social media for the business that we work at right now. And that would just honestly be like a transition between me working right now and just taking on a different role at this company, because obviously I've been doing my math tutoring job for the last like 4 years and it's been a very long time. Like I feel like a lot of the things that I do now is very second nature to me. Like it's very natural and it comes very easily. And I think I just need a little bit of a different thing to do that challenges me and makes me think a little, because I think that's what I'm lacking right now. So yeah, I think balancing these two things would be really fun. And then also that would also give me some direction with my own content creation personally that I can still do as a hobby, and obviously still doing this podcast. Like, I think I'd be able to talk about a lot more because I'll have more experiences and I'll be able to share what I'm learning in real time. So I think I'm adjusting what I think I'm going to be doing for the rest of 2022. I know I was talking about how I wanted to travel a lot and all that, but I might press pause after I come back from Austin and think about working first and then traveling later, because also, like, I don't have a ton of money right now, so it wouldn't even be that fun to travel right now anyway, because I'm always conscious about, oh my God, like, I can't spend this much because I only have so much in my bank account. Like, I think after a few months or years of working and I've saved up enough to travel again, it'll be a lot more fun because obviously I have more money to do things on my vacation. So I think that'll be good. Yeah. So that's pretty much my vision. I also really want to move out by the end of this year. Like, it's my goal and I'm manifesting it. I will move out by January 2023, and it'll be even better if it's earlier than that, for sure. All right. This episode has been very overwhelming. But I just wanted to share how I'm feeling as a young adult who just graduated from university and is dealing with adulthood and life for the very first time. Anyways, I wanted to share something new that I've been doing that I've been really liking. I've only been doing it for the last 2 days. So this problem that I've been having is I don't check my phone right after I wake up, but when I start my meditation, not my medication, when I start my meditation podcast in the morning after I finish brushing my teeth and all that, I have a tendency to open my phone and go on social media. And I really didn't like that because obviously it's still super early and I'm still very impressionable, and I also I'm not like ready to go on social media yet, but I just wanted to because obviously social media is addicting. But I recently started doing this thing where I have this little weekly notepad that has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then next week on it, where I can just plan out my day. So right when I wake up, after I finish going to the bathroom and doing all those things and I'm getting ready to meditate, instead of going on my phone, I pull out my notepad and I brain dump all of the things that I think I have to do. And it has been so helpful. First of all, for not checking my phone in the morning, and then also just like clearing my mind, because a lot of times I wake up and I think immediately about what I have to do in the day, and this list has allowed me to just put it down and then get rid of it, which has been really, really helpful because then I'm not overwhelmed with all the things that I have to do this week. So if you are finding that you are going on your phone a lot after you wake up and you don't want to do that anymore, maybe consider buying a little notepad and sticking it next to you on your nightstand so that you go to that first instead of going to your phone. Another thing is I like to keep track of habits, and I've been tracking whether I go on my phone in the morning, and obviously that's a big motivation to not go on my phone because I love coloring in my little habit tracker box and I don't want to fail. So that's been really fun. So I feel like that has really helped me lower my screen time and just not be so addicted to social media. I think I'm going to do a cleanse soon. So I'll let you know how that goes and we can talk about it in another episode. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed Over Easy episode 50. I know this was a little bit different. I had different expectations, but again, we need to not have expectations. And I feel like this was a very honest episode, and I think that's all I could ever want from my podcast. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for supporting me this past year with my podcast. I've had so much fun with it, and it's just been such a good experience. And I think I've also grown a lot from having my podcast as well. I am hoping that I can get more guests on in the next season because I have been doing a lot of solo episodes recently, but I've been really liking that too. I think both offer a great vibe. Anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye.
And I was like, yo.